folks, ladies and gentlemen, we're please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Because of the novel coronavirus COVID-19 emergency and state and federal law bans on large meetings or gatherings, and pursuant to Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 220.1 issued on March 12, 2020, suspending the open meetings law, the Village of Fredonia Board of Trustees meeting scheduled for March 23, 2020 will be held electronically via video conference instead of a public meeting open to the public to attend in person. Members of the public may view the board meeting through Spectrum Cable TV, channel 1301. Also available is a live stream on YouTube. The meeting will be transcribed and posted on the Village of Fredonia website. New York State APA encourages planning and zoning boards to replace in-person open meetings with remote, telephonic, or other digital meetings until the crisis is passed. Thank you, and the New York State Economic Development Council for sharing this information. Before we start our agenda tonight, I would like to give you a briefing on County Executive P.J. Wendell and Stock County Health Commissioner Christine Schuyler's address this afternoon at 4. This afternoon, the Stock County Department of Health and Human Services Public Health Unit was notified of 2 residents of Stockton County who have tested positive for COVID-19, a disease caused by a novel coronavirus. These cases were confirmed through testing at the ACL laboratories and are the first confirmed cases in Stockton County. The 2 individuals diagnosed with COVID-19 include a female in her 30s who resides in the Dunkirk area with recent travel to the city of Buffalo, a male in his 30s who resides in the Silver Creek area with recent travel to the city of Buffalo. Based on an initial review of each case by the Health Department epidemiology staff, these individuals appear to have had separate exposures to the novel coronavirus. Both of these individuals have been in precautionary quarantine by the Health Department. As of this date, neither individual has required hospitalization. Each will continue to recover at home under mandatory isolation per New York State Department of Health guidelines. Chautauqua County Public Health staff has begun an intensive investigation to identify close contacts of these 2 individuals. Once identified, our department will notify close contacts of their potential exposure to the COVID-19, and they will be placed under mandatory quarantine to monitor for symptoms. There's a national shortage of personal protective equipment, collection swabs, and viral transport media supplies, and it's critical that laboratory testing be prioritized for hospitalized patients and the very sick. It is critical that we protect our healthcare workforce. Any resident experiencing a fever with cough and shortness of breath should call your healthcare provider first for guidance. Do not show up at their office, urgent care, or ER before calling. Only if your symptoms are severe. Call 911 and the 911 dispatcher will screen your call per established protocol. We continue monitoring the situation and will update the public on a regular basis. Visit https://taquagov.com or the 604-6789 for more information. And prevent or limit secondary exposures to ensure public health and safety. So what we need to do here, ladies and gentlemen, is take some precautions. We need you to wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. If soap and water are not available, use alcohol-based sanitizer. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue, and then throw the tissue in the trash can. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces. Put distance between yourself and others. Abide by the social distancing measures and maintain 6 feet of separation from those you must be in close contact with. Get a flu shot for yourself and your family members at a local pharmacy. This will not prevent COVID-19, but it will prevent you from getting the flu, keeping you healthy and out of the hospital. Individuals with questions or concerns regarding coronavirus disease or travel-related questions are encouraged to call the New York State Department of Health coronavirus hotline 24/7 at 1-888-364-3065. For locally specific information, county residents may also contact the Chautauqua County Department of Health and Human Services at 1-866-604-6789 during normal business hours. Basically, we need to practice social distancing. We need to help your neighbors. There's neighbors that may not get out normally, or that are by themselves. If they're practicing social distancing and isolation, be a good neighbor and check up on your neighbor. I would just also emphasize patience and understanding during this whole process. Myself, normally, I've fielded a bunch of questions if I know certain information and I do not. Locally, we are directed and mandated by the Chautauqua County Department of Health and the county and the state, and any directives from them come down to us, and that's when we act or react. Daily updates at 4 p.m. are from County Executive Wendell, and on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have a conference call at 6 to 6:30 p.m., and we get updates on those days as well. So when I receive information, I will pass that on, but your best bet, if you would like current information, is to go to the county website or the New York State website, and they can direct you from there. Okay, I would like to open up our workshop portion of this regular meeting. Review resolutions. Number 1, resignation letter from Lori Richardson, Senior Account Clerk. Any discussion or questions? Okay, number 2, calling for a public hearing for Monday, March 30th on the tentative budget. Any questions or comments?
How are we going to do that? Are we going to do that remotely? And how will that look?
I believe unless something changes restriction-wise, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, we would still continue to do what we're doing via teleconferencing for the public hearing, correct?
Yeah, sorry, I had to unmute it. My latest word from Albany is that they haven't done anything yet, but they're thinking of making some changes for us in terms of public meetings, the public vote, stuff like that. I'm in contact with NICOM and also with Hodgson and Rust for some guidance in that area. I don't have anything yet. So let's go ahead and schedule it. And if we have to adjourn it, we can do that.
Okay. Does that answer your question somewhat?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think so. I didn't know if we would, if people would call in questions if they had them, or submit them electronically in some way if we had to meet remotely. I just wasn't sure how that was going to look or work.
We handle it the same way we're handling this meeting. The tentative budget will be put on our website for the public to review before the public hearing, and they can submit their questions, I think, via email, just like we're doing tonight.
Okay.
That would be our intention.
Okay.
Okay, but we're just waiting for some rules. Things are changing literally every day.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I saw something on that, Dan. Was that possibly in that information that I emailed you? I thought it was down near the bottom of that. And I thought they did send us something on that. But I was also going to ask about the date of the 30th as far as the time of the meeting. Are we going to set it the same time or a different time?
And Maria, I think that meeting was set for 4, wasn't it?
4 p.m. 4 p.m.
Okay, I just want to verify that was 4 p.m. on the 30th. And then we'll have all that other information from Dan by then, so that'd be great.
Is there questions on that? Okay, moving forward, attorney guard administration fee. Any questions or any comments, please?
Dan, I had responded in an email that I was just surprised that there was only one date that had a timeline attached to it. Everything else was just a listing of things.
Pat, the one that I've got, I'm sorry, Roger, The one that I've gotten, as the Word document saved, has all the times on it. The times up to that point totaled 38 hours. Some reason, the attachment got like smashed. If you look at the top, the letterhead isn't right either. So I'll have to resend it to you guys. But it is an hourly record for those dates, totaling 38 hours up to that point.
I'm not questioning the time. I'm sure it was. I just thought maybe you should have it listed on there. So if you could send us a new one, that would be great.
Yeah, it's on there. It's just something got screwed up with the attachment.
Okay.
Regarding that? Supervisor Anthony Gugino to approve on-site change orders for Village Water Plant Project. Any questions or comments on that? That's so Tony can keep the project moving with change orders under $5,000 so the project doesn't stall. I think that was the main purpose of that.
Yeah, that was a recommendation from the engineering firm and the contractors too, just so, like you said, nothing stalls, everything keeps moving. Unless there's a major problem, then it would have to come to the board. But all that will be tracked, so we'll know exactly how much the change orders are totaling up as they go.
And I just wanted to mention, he has had that ability on other projects. So this is something he's done it for Fredonia before.
Okay. Appointment of plant operator trainees. Catherine Drescher, amended appointment. We're just, I think the amendment is for her, the probationary period of a change on there, and that's what this amended appointment is tonight.
Yes, that's correct.
Any comments or questions on that? Okay, we'll move forward to new business. Presentation of the mayor's budget. On last Friday, good evening. Last Friday, the Board of Trustees received my tentative 2020-2021 village budget.
I don't know why that's not.
Tonight, I will give the board and the residents of the village of Fredonia an overview of how our treasurer, department heads, and myself compiled this budget proposal for the trustees' final review. When I first started meeting with department heads and our treasurer, the world and our economy was in a totally different place. In just 2 weeks, our world went from a state of normality to a state of confusion, fear, anxiety, and economic instability. This budget process started out in quite a normal fashion, but ultimately had to end very conservatively to safeguard our residents from an undue financial burden when both public and private sector jobs are uncertain at this point. We do not know where our economy is headed and cannot forecast the financial future of our region. It is my fiduciary responsibility as the budget officer of this village to provide a prudent budget proposal to the Board of Trustees. Our budget consists of 3 different funds: general, water, and sewer. The budget total this year is $10,502,402. That's $248,322 over last year's budget of $10,254,080. The breakdown of the budget is as follows. The general portion is $6,686,815. The water portion is $1,875,585. The sewer portion is $1,940,002. This has been a very challenging budget, and under normal economic conditions, a tax rate hike would be considered to help fund justified employees to be added and capital spending in the general fund. My decision to put a hold on additional personnel and capital spending in lieu of a tax increase at this time of financial unknown was due to undetermined revenues and the possibility of property tax payments not being made by citizens who might not be able to pay them. We will still provide all the same services that our residents have expected and deserved. This action is by no means in any way meant to punish any department or department head. This is purely based on our economic climate. No tax rate increase. Unreserved fund balance from the general fund of $143,421 was used to balance the general fund. In addition, $399,366 of unused capital expenses was used to reduce the budget deficit in the general fund to adjust fund balance to $1,037,091 to be within the fund balance guidelines of 15 to 25%, or 15.51% currently. The water and sewer funds are doing well, and at this time, no new water and sewer rate increases will be implemented. Each of these funds have operating surpluses. Proposed reserve balances will be available to be used for dedicated water and sewer projects to reduce total costs that would have to be financed. I would like everyone to be aware of the fact that I do realize that departments could use additional staffing and equipment. I also realize that we are in unprecedented financial times. When our residents may not only worry about paying taxes, but also worry about a roof over their heads and food for their families. We're all in this together. We will get through this together, and we will do it as a team. I will ask our department heads to roll up their sleeves and go the extra mile. I know we have the employees and staff to support this, think outside the box, and do things more efficiently and effectively to provide our residents services. As for my part in this process, I will continue to collaborate with surrounding municipalities, county, state, and federal officials to reduce costs, increase services while providing all public services. We will continue to complete ongoing projects. We will also continue to work to acquire state aid, AIM funding. I will continue to work with our Board of Trustees together as a team for all the residents of our village to govern with swift, educated decisions that are in your best interest. We will get back to a normal day in our great village. Respectfully submitted, Douglas Piesic, Mayor of the Village of Fredonia. So, trustees, you have an electronic copy of my proposed budget to you. Electronic copy will be placed on our website for the public to review. A public hearing has been scheduled, so just briefly right here, is there any questions or concerns that you have?
The public hearing hasn't been scheduled. The call for the public hearing has been scheduled.
Any other comments or questions?
How do we plan to review the budget with the department heads if we can't all get together?
I would assume this would be the opportunity to utilize this system once we get all the bugs worked out of it tonight. Unless you all can sit in a room 6 feet apart with less than 10 people. But I know that everybody is suggesting this type of format to make sure we practice social distancing and we don't spread the virus. So there's a couple options there. Any other new business?
I have something. So we received a proposal from Jim Sedota regarding a recommendation for a deputy treasurer to get us through, because as of Friday, we're losing our senior account clerk. Also with the budget, the fact that we're going to be meeting on budgets, it's going to give Jim extra work. I understand we don't have to decide this today, but I think by next Monday, we should make a decision so that it does not have a negative impact on how the village is running, especially given the amount of projects we're doing right now, the amount of grants that are out there. Doug, is this something we could act on next week during that calling for the budget hearing meeting?
Other businesses brought before the board at this meeting? Yes, I mean, I spoke to a few of you last night. My concern is we need to continue to have efficient and effective operation of our village administration. And during these times right now, we really don't need a big a change in employees and influx. I know there are some people that can be trained on this as well, but everybody's under a lot of stress, under a lot of pressure right now, and we need to do what's best for our village residents and provide a reasonable service for them and do it efficiently and effectively. So that's just my thought on this matter. Is there any other comments or questions on that? Okay, any other new business? We'll go to old business, special committees discussion. I'm not sure who put that on there, but whoever did, could you please follow up on that?
I had that put on, Doug. I had a question. I guess I was under the impression that we needed to approve this, and I'm not sure we ever did, number one. And number two, we had removed the interview subcommittee when we passed the resolution at, was it the last meeting, in regard to the trustees who were assigned to the closest. So that committee, that subcommittee would go away from that list. But is it true that we have to approve these, correct? Okay, because I don't believe, Anne Marie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that's been done.
I don't believe so.
So could we have these committees that had changes to them be brought up for new business and a resolution to be passed for the changes on them for our March 30th meeting, please?
And we would remove the interview committee and move down. Were there any other questions from other people about these subcommittees?
Shouldn't we still have the interview subcommittee on there and just say the two trustees that are most closely aligned with the position with interview?
We passed that resolution, so I mean, if you want it on here, we could make it as a note. I mean, it's not really a subcommittee, but we did pass the resolution, so it's, you know, in the books. I'm not sure it has to be listed as a subcommittee, but
Of what they're speaking of?
That would probably be the easiest way to do it, Doug, yes.
Okay.
what last resolution? Oh, the one that we passed about the interviewing thing you're talking
That's
about?
correct.
Yes.
To amend that resolution to have that language put in it that trustee Pecos is speaking of.
Do we need it in the subcommittee list?
No.
No, what I was suggesting was to just not have it as a separate subcommittee, but just have it in the language that you had for that change for your personnel resolution that we passed 2 meetings ago.
I thought that was in there. I thought that's what she put in that
The
resolution.
resolution's been in there. I'm just talking about the list of subcommittees. Do you still want that listed?
Yes, we still need to pass these.
Yes, we have to pass the
You
subcommittee,
wouldn't
but
put a subcommittee, anything about a subcommittee in the resolution.
No. If there are changes to the subcommittees here that can't be put in as a amendment to that one resolution, then they have to be passed as a separate resolution. I don't see any other changes other than that specific language change to that last resolution.
Mayor Essick, you have that your recommendation, that their recommendations be back to the board by May 1st. So you had a deadline on there.
My thoughts were for their goals and achievements in these, so that's
Okay.
totally separate.
Okay.
Dan, if you could just figure that out, please, and make that happen for us for the next meeting.
I'll talk to Anne Marie about it, yes.
Thank you.
My point is, the only thing is that that one thing would come out and all the rest would stay the same.
Okay. Old business. Roger? Anybody? Okay. Well, at this time, I'd like to call the Board of Trustees regular meeting of March 23rd, 2020 to order. At a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees, I changed that, Ann, from special.
Sorry, thank you.
Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia duly called and held on the 23rd day of March 2020 at 6:56 p.m. in remote locations in Fredonia, New York, and public notice of time and place of this meeting has been given to the news media and conspicuously posted in one or more designated public locations in accordance with Section 104 of the Open Meetings Law. Do we need, would somebody
We can
on this
We
next?
could pass this tonight with 2 trustees or wait till the next meeting. It's not urgent.
Then the next part,
The minutes there?
Minutes?
You want me to read it?
Sure,
Yes.
go ahead, Kara, please.
There are members of this board present at this meeting have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees regular meeting of January 27th, 2020, and the official minutes of the Board of Trustees regular meeting of February 10th, 2020. Now therefore be it resolved that this board approves the minutes as entered into the official minutes, and be it further resolved that the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Second.
Thank you. Did someone second?
Yes,
I'll
I-
second.
Thank you.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Would you like me to just read the email we received?
Yes, please.
David Friedman, 131 Chestnut Street in Fredonia, regarding the current state of emergency in response to the coronavirus pandemic. Some simple math takes us to a place where locally we are going to need hundreds of hospital beds and more than the 7 or 8 ventilators simultaneously in the near future under the best of circumstances. My question to the board is, what is the actual plan? I appreciate that it seems we are working together between municipalities in an unprecedented way in these once-in-a-lifetime circumstances, but there needs to be a concrete, proactive plan started immediately. If we over-prepare, so be it, but we will be very, very lucky if we are able to rise to meet this challenge. What is the plan? If this is all up to the county and the state, please let us know that and do your best to let us know what they have decided. Thank you, David Friedman.
Thank you. Was that the only,
We got one email regarding the public portion of tonight's meeting.
that's the only email correspondence? We will close the public portion of this meeting.
Was there an answer for that? Is there an answer for his question?
Well,
I'll do that.
the mayor pretty much covered it with his statement earlier in the meeting, I
Yeah.
thought.
Yep.
I would agree.
Yeah, okay.
I will reiterate here in my mayor's report. First of all, everything that we do on a local level is dictated to us from the county and the state, so it's absolutely right. We receive guidance from the county and the county health commissioner and the state and from the federal government. So every action that we take comes from them. I do not get secret phone calls to know ahead of schedule what's going on or any information. Today with the press conference was the first time I found out that we had 2 cases of coronavirus in our county. So your best resort for information is to go to the county websites and the New York State websites and to get information from there. They give you up-to-date, day, even hourly updates sometimes. So that's our best resource for information. I recently held a press conference on March 12, 2020 with local, county, and state officials. The purpose of that was to show our residents that we are working together on all different levels. We're working together with our local communities, working together with county officials and state and federal officials. This is a team effort. Everybody's on the same page. And when information is given to us, we will give that out to the public. And again, like I said, when I usually get the information, it's the same time that you do. So I do not hold any information away from the residents. A state of emergency was declared on March 16th, 2020 for the village of Fredonia. I did that in addition to the county and state and federal states of emergency. This gives us different abilities to do different things within our community. It doesn't conflict with any other states of emergency. It just gives us different options to do different things in our village. And it's in accordance with local laws and state and federal laws. Earlier in my original statement, I said, we need to be good neighbors and to practice social distancing. Chief Walker came up with a great idea as far as being good neighbors in our village. What we should do is start a database of those elderly, special needs, and et cetera from our community that would like a daily check or some sort of check-in or call. Completely voluntary sign up. We can make the announcement at a board meeting and make sure the press pushes it out for Tuesday's paper and all forms of social media. We can make contact as requested with those that register. If they have any needs, to try to make arrangements with them for groceries, supplies, medications, or someone just to talk with briefly. Also, consider the green paper in the window if all is good and red paper if something is needed. Some communities have started this across the country already. So if these individuals who we need to check in on have an issue or need something, they can put a red piece of paper in their window, or the green if they're okay. So those interested in the daily call could either send an email to the village clerk with contact information or call and leave messages at Village Hall. It will show support efforts for the health and well-being of our community. So that's a very good thought. In addition to the resources from the county and the state, we have our county Chamber of Commerce that offers many different resources for small business. I know we've had our Small Business Revolution event here a few weeks ago, and small businesses are really going to be taking a hit during this whole process. There are different resources on the Chamber of Commerce website with links to different things that can help small businesses. So I encourage any small business to please review and look at the Chamber of Commerce website. That's all I have. Let's see, hold on here. No, that isn't all I have. So I want to thank all of our employees for their understanding, dedication, and their hard work and above and beyond effort. Thank you to our department heads, administrative staff, and our residents and businesses for their patience, compliance, compassion, caring, and respect for each other during this crisis. We're all in this together, folks. None of us wanted this to happen. None of us expected this to happen, but we need to get through this together. We will continue to collaborate with our northern neighbors and friends, the city of Dunkirk, my colleague and friend, Mayor Wilfred Rosas. We will continue to assist each other like good neighbors in times of need. So whenever any other community would like and need a resource that we can offer them, I will discuss that with our department heads, and we will help our neighbors as they will help us. A couple weeks ago, I attended a Boys and Girls Club dinner celebration for 25 years honoring DFT Communications in Jerry Hall. DFT Communications with Mark and Kurt Madem. And the City of Dunkirk officials and I held a brief meeting to update our residents on COVID-19. That's on our access page, or not our access page, or access channel, and Dunkirk's access channel. So if you'd like to view that, we gave a little bit of information at that time. And that is all I have. I just want to thank again everybody for your hard work. I thank our residents for patience. Thank you very much.
Mayor, would you mind explaining to the community about how many employees we have off due to this? What areas within the village that we've reduced our staffing to protect them? And are we maintaining what particular areas so that we have coverage, such as the fire department? What areas? Are there certain areas of the fire department as far as medical care that we're enhancing at all, or what do we do if should there be a need to have our ambulances down for sanitation or something? There's just certain things we need to do for that. Those types of things, specifically what the village itself is doing.
Throughout this process, the governor has issued executive orders only allowing us to have essential employees. Essential employees in our village would include the fire, police, water treatment, and wastewater treatment plants. All their employees were furloughed or asked to work from home if they could. These essential employees represent our health and safety of our residents, and those are our fire, police, and our water and sewer. And we will maintain those, and those were dictated by executive order of our governor. As far as maintaining safety with our EMS and so forth, we have mutual aid agreements with departments around us, and like I said, we will work closely with the city of Dunkirk and other surrounding communities to provide those services when we are unable to. That's the whole idea of mutual aid and helping each other out with surrounding communities. So if we get into a bind where we have to decontaminate or we run short in manpower, I've already discussed this with Mayor Rosas, and we will address those needs when we need to. But we definitely have already in place mutual aid agreements, and I know our neighbors are willing to help us as we are to help them.
I know recently there was an issue with transporting outside of our district for insurance reasons and stuff. The fire chief spoke of. We had to make some changes with surrounding communities as far as mutual aid. Can we maybe speak on that a little bit?
Actually, I'll let Ryan speak on that behalf. He could explain this better than I can at this point, exactly Jim's question on the towns of Dunkirk and Sheridan and our response and the situation of that.
That response, they had until May 1st. We're continuing to do that out there until May 1st. At that point of time, we were no longer going to go out there. However, with the state of the world right now, that's something that the board should really look at if we're going to extend that deadline out for them as well, or stay with the game plan. I know that they've been trying to work on solutions moving forward, but they haven't come up with anything yet, to my knowledge.
Okay, but so currently we're still working with them.
Correct. As far as staffing goes, I do know that the commercial ambulance service here has recently graduated a few paramedics from their paramedic class, so they've been able to put a few more staffing up this way. And everything right now, with everything going on, it seemed to slow down. I don't want to say our call volume is real slow, because from 3 o'clock on, today we've had probably 5 or 6 calls, so it comes in waves. But the further we go on, I think the call volume will start picking up again, and probably out to some of those areas outside of our district.
Good.
We run into issues where we're unable to respond ourselves for whatever reason.
Yep, sure. The station's fully staffed. Right now we have 3 staff on during the daytime till 11 o'clock. Originally, we were going to be sending 3 individuals out to the fire academy, which has been postponed until end of July, August, so we can utilize those on shifts to cover our manpower issues for the time being, and continue to provide the service to the community. We do have 3 ambulances that can be staffed and utilized as needed, and business as usual with the fire department.
Okay, thank you.
Good, thank you.
All right. Services that they need and deserve, and we will not, move from that. There are the different services that I stated earlier, and we will continue to provide those. I'm done with my report. Trustee Christina.
I don't have any reports this evening. I'd just like to thank Chip Rewalt for the time and the hours that he put into allowing us to meet this in this remote fashion. He's been great, and we owe him a lot for putting this all together. So thanks, Chip.
Great.
Trustee Linden.
Yeah, quickly, I recently had an opportunity to meet with our street superintendent, Tony Cagino, and during our meeting, he reported to me that he's in need of a mechanic 3 position that has been vacant for quite some time. And during that time, he said that that would actually provide us with the savings. Even if we did it now, we wouldn't have to consider it into the budget because it would actually provide us savings the way he has it determined. He could, this is all based on over the last year, the amount of labor we've had to put out for mechanics outside of the village, using outside labor for repairs, and that he could make a couple of moves within and from labor, and then leaving one labor position vacant. The end cost savings would be fairly significant in the range of around $12,000 savings, and then getting all the work done within house. So he would express that, and he could provide that information to everyone, and we'd like to have maybe consider that for our next meeting, so we can move forward with that.
Proposed budget that I gave to all you trustees, we put a halt on capital spending and any additional personnel, and that didn't just include the streets department, it included the fire department and police department personnel as well. This isn't something that I took a very, lightly. This is something that we needed to do in these times here of unsure financial stability. I gave, my budget is tentative. It's given to you, the trustees. You can look it over.
This could actually be implemented this year before,
Jim, I'm talking
this year's budget.
Jim, stop. Jim, I'm talking still. This is something that you can review and decide with all the trustees together during your budget process. So thank you. That's what I gave you.
Like I said, what he's describing is filling a vacant position. It's not adding new, and then eliminate for now a labor position, and then the overall would provide actual savings. And I know your budget is based on the finances, but this would be a overall significant savings for the village. So I'd like to just let of course, the board is I'm presenting this as because it was part of the report that he gave to me, and so I'm presenting it as my report, and that the trustees would then be able to consider it. Thank you.
Process, one of the things that he included in his budget. So the board right now has the budget, and you can review it and put it into its final form when you decide. Okay, Trustee Britz.
Not what I said, but.
Opportunity for all of us to get together and talk as we do. It's another way to continue on with our service to the village as government officials. So again, Chip, thank you again for all your hard work, and we'll take a hard look at your budget line this year, see what we can do to help you out a little bit. I have no other reports other than Trustee Pecos and I had a couple interviews this week. I did have a couple of conference calls with the Chamber of Commerce, and there's some other things that have been put on hold with them based on the situations that we're all involved with. So really don't have too much to report right now until we can all get through this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Trustee Britz. Trustee Pecos.
I attended the North County Water District meeting with the mayor on March 13th. One of the things that came out, it sounds like Dunkirk and the North County Water District are close to an agreement regarding the interconnections. Once they've got a tentative agreement, then they're going to send it to us to review. Also, after that was the Chadwick Bay Regional Development Corporation meeting. And in one of those meetings, I know the kind of related to an earlier discussion, the supervisors from both Sheridan and the town of Dunkirk were talking about the need to have ambulance coverage in their towns once we do not respond any longer. Then on the 13th, I met with my brother Dan, town of Pomfret supervisor, also with Jeff Smith, Jim Sedota, and I believe Tony Gagino was there, talking about a possible phase 2 project for our water system, and also talking with Pomfret about what their needs are and what their plan is as far as expansion. So we kind of got the ball rolling with that. With everything going on, I'm not sure how the timelines for any grants, if it's going to be impacted, but that's something that we're working on. And as Trustee Britz mentioned, we had some interviews this week for the water plant. Other than that, been a quieter week.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Bashaw.
I really have nothing except I'm wondering what we've done to control the temperature in this building because it's hotter than Hades in this room. Yeah, I know I'd have to crawl over the desk to open it, but there was some talk about this, correct? In regard to being able to control the heat and temperature in the building.
Tony Cagino, our street superintendent, had Siemens do a study,
Okay.
but that's something that's not like right now happening.
Okay.
Sorry.
It wasn't a plan, it was just a study.
Trustee Bashaw?
Not at this time.
Thank you very much. Clerk, would you please read the reports?
The Village of Fredonia Justice Court report for the month of February 2020. Number of cases closed. Vehicle and traffic 63. Criminal cases 28. Village ordinances 12. Civil cases 4. For a total of 107. Total fines and surcharges $6,533. Parking tickets $3,883 for a total of $10,416. Code enforcement month end report for February 2020. Building permits issued 10, inspections 16, certificates of occupancy 15, certificates of compliance 19, violations found 7, violations satisfied 4. Permit fees collected $15,805, rental fees $1,070, certificate of compliance fees $1,325, zoning variances $250, total fees $18,450, rental inspections 19, renewals 12, junk car property maintenance found 1 junk car and 5 property maintenance inspections, removed 3 property maintenance and 1 junk car removed. Those are the reports for the meeting.
Do you have anything for a treasury report? I apologize for going past you. Okay. Well, Jim, could you get the mic close to your? Okay. Thank you. Do you have anything to report here tonight based on anything that's going on here that we're going through with this coronavirus that you would like to state?
Just that we're working very closely with your office and Ryan, we're trying to coordinate everything. And the law, excuse me, the legal end of this continues to move. It moves every day. Sometimes these executive orders are conflicting. Sometimes it takes a while for, the lawyers to get together and figure out what it's supposed to say. So I just ask, for patience and support for the mayor as we try to get through this.
Anne Marie, can you read the correspondence, please?
A letter of resignation was received from Lori Richardson resigning her position as senior account clerk effective March 28th, 2020 for the purpose of retirement.
Be it resolved that the resignation of Lori Richardson as senior account clerk is hereby accepted effective March 28th, 2020, last day being March 27th, 2020, for the purpose of retirement, and the mayor is hereby authorized to write a letter to Mrs. Richardson thanking her for her 28 years of service to the village of Fredonia.
I'll second that with regrets. Yeah, I'd like to add that, you know, obviously every employee can be replaced, but you don't replace an employee such as Lori with the amount of knowledge and experience that she has just overnight or with a few days of training. So again, I'd ask the board to consider the proposal that Jim Sedota sent us so that we have a smooth transition as we replace our senior account clerk and then the treasurer also.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes, with regrets.
Trustee Bashaw?
Yes, and thank you for your service.
Carried.
Whereas pursuant to section 5-508(3) of the New York State Village Law, a public hearing must be held on a tentative budget for the village fiscal year commencing on June 1st, 2020, with notice of such public hearing published in the official newspaper, The Observer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia hereby schedules a public hearing on the 30th day of March 2020 at 4 p.m. at the Trustees Room, 2nd floor, Village Hall, 911 Church Street, Fredonia, New York, to receive comments on the 2020 fiscal year tentative budget, which is now on file at the office of the Village Clerk of the Village of Fredonia. And be it further resolved that the Village Clerk is hereby directed to publish notice of said hearing pursuant to village law.
I'll second that motion.
A second. Is there any further discussion?
Only that's the statement that it's going to be in the trustees room. If we decide to do a
Video conference?
interconference, are we okay still with that wording?
We're still waiting to hear back, as Attorney Guard said, from the state.
Okay.
Excuse me, I was questioning this resolution actually, because it says we're calling for the public hearing. The public hearing doesn't get, the public hearing isn't called for until as late as April 15th. We're not actually having the public hearing starting that date, are we? Are we, I thought we were on the 30th. So we're going to actually have, that's from that point on, the public then has the time to.
I had to schedule a special meeting for March 30th in order to have a public hearing.
Okay, we're actually, I thought we were actually calling for the public hearing on that date.
Well, that is the public hearing, Jim. And
That's,
then until April
that's
15th.
where we're going to actually hold it. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm perfectly clear. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments? There's been a motion and a second. Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Britz?
Aye.
Trustee Pecos?
Yes.
Trustee Bashaw?
Yes.
Carried.
Whereas the village emergency water line project requires legal work beyond what is customary work of the village attorney, and whereas Daniel C. Guard, Esquire, has required to perform the legal work for the project in addition to assistance with the coordination of the village and its contractors, and whereas the project budget includes $3,000 of legal services, therefore be it resolved, the village hereby retains Daniel C. Guard, Esquire, to perform the legal work of the village emergency water line project for a flat fee of $3,000.
Can I have a second?
Second. I would just like to, Dan, make sure we get the hours, please. We'd appreciate that. The document that we received didn't include the hours like Roger Pecos indicated.
Right, as I mentioned to Roger, the attachment got messed up somehow with the computer, so I'll have that for you as soon as the meeting's over.
Thank you.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Britz?
Yes.
Trustee Pecos?
Yes.
Trustee Bashaw?
Yes.
Carried.
Whereas the village water plant project will require change orders as the project proceeds, and whereas DPW Supervisor Anthony Gugino's position with the village uniquely qualifies him to make decisions as they present themselves on the job site, and whereas it is in the best interest of the village that work on the project continue with as little interruption as possible, therefore, be it resolved, the village hereby authorizes DPW Supervisor Anthony Gugino to approve on-site change orders which do not exceed $5,000.
I'll second the motion.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I have a question in regard to this. Just a simple one. Tell me again why the water plant department head is not the one who would make these change orders.
Question. I had the same question.
Why is Tony doing it as the DPW department head and not Chris?
Mayor, may I address this question?
Yeah, absolutely, please.
Okay, part of the reason is because Mr. Gugino's position that he was hired to do and what we understood those job duties to be was not in line with the prior position. When Mayor Landis brought him in, we asked him to perform in a role that was more similar to the role he'd performed for the city of Dunkirk. That's what he's been doing, and we're in the process of changing his title with civil service to more accurately reflect that. But so with the county being the way it is, right now it's taking a little while.
What title is that?
I don't have it in front of me, I'm sorry.
I guess I would also add that Tony probably has a wealth of knowledge and experience, especially because he was involved with the water project that Dunkirk did. So he's probably nothing against Mr. Surma, who's got a wealth of knowledge himself, but probably is from the general contractor and everything going on with this project, including the work down on Vineyard Drive and the storage tank. Probably Tony is probably our best knowledgeable person. And that's why it was suggested that he be the person to authorize these.
Any other comments?
I suggest we review the responsibilities of our department heads.
We're in that process right now. It started a couple of months ago, but
Would you include the personnel
service
committee?
are kind of slow sometimes.
Would you include the personnel committee on that, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Britz?
Yes.
Trustee Pecos?
Yes.
Trustee Bashaw?
Yes.
Carried.
Be it resolved that Dale Lombardo of 10562 Wilbur Road, Dunkirk, New York, and Marcus Bentley, 72 Center Street, Fredonia, New York, are hereby appointed to the position of Water Treatment Plant Operator Trainee at a rate of pay per the CSEA contract of $17.10 an hour, effective immediately, subject to all civil service rules and regulations, and a 6-month probationary period.
Is there any further discussion? Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Britz?
Yes.
Trustee Pecos?
Yes.
Trustee Bashaw?
Yes.
Carried.
Whereas Catherine DeRusha has been previously employed by the village to perform the tasks of the position of part-time clerk 2, therefore be it resolved, the resolution appointing Catherine DeRusha as part-time clerk 2, which was passed on March 9th, 2020, is hereby amended to reflect her probationary period, is hereby amended to 8 weeks.
I second that.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Britz?
Yes.
Trustee Pecos?
Yes.
Trustee Bashaw?
Yes.
If there is no further business, can I have somebody make a motion to adjourn?
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Been a motion, can I have a second?
Second.
Been a motion and a second to adjourn. Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
I,
Trustee Britz?
Yes.
Trustee Pecos?
Yes.
Trustee Bashaw? Carried. Thank you, everybody, for your going through this process here. I appreciate everybody's effort. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Stay safe.